Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today I wanted to talk to you about the flowers that I am going with for my wedding. So this is mostly just going to be on the roses that I decided to make. And then I might have another video up of making the carnations and kind of walking through that as well. So flowers were an important thing for me to decide on when it came to my wedding. I love gardening, mostly because it's something that my mom and I do together. So it's just something special for me. I love in the springtime watching the new flowers come up. I love watching just like the little buds and kind of tracking their progress and things like that for all my different flowers. So I knew that picking flowers for my wedding was going to be a big deal. Originally, I had wanted to go with a hydrangea bouquet, but hydrangeas aren't in bloom during the spring. They come, late spring, early summer. So I was kind of at a loss then for what to do with flowers. I also thought about maybe going with like a wildflower bouquet, which was back when we had our original theme of going with like a dark plum purple and sage green. So I figured that would look really good. But then when we changed our theme to be Ravenclaw and Harry Potter related, I started to think about what exactly I wanted to do for flowers, and I was coming up with not a lot of ideas, to be honest, just because our colors being a dark navy blue and silver bronze, I didn't really want to pull in a lot of different colors, and that didn't leave us with a lot of options because there aren't a lot of really dark blue flowers, or blue flowers really for that matter. So then I started to kind of think about the cost of flowers. I was originally looking at going with my local grocery store, but then the more I thought about it, the more it's like, well, I have to worry about like when I order these, when they come in, about how long they're gonna last and things like that. And ultimately, if I was investing in flowers, I kind of wanted something that would stick with me for a long time. And I know you can dry flowers and they can last for years and years and years, but then I started thinking that some of the attributes of Ravenclaw House that I really identify with are a love for knowledge and books. And then I kind of spiraled down this hole of, well, why don't I just make flowers out of book pages? Which initially to me was such a scary idea, not with the whole making process of it, but just with the whole defacing a book and destroying a book process. So I decided that I was going to make flowers out of Harry Potter books. And that was scary for me just because I am such a book lover. I love the Harry Potter series and I didn't want to rip apart a book. But I ended up getting over that. As you can see behind me, I've made 3 flowers already and I really love how they turn out. And it's just been a really good process, I think. I know there were other options that I could do where I could use some different forms of paper, but seeing as we're setting our wedding around Harry Potter anyway, I figured it would be most special to have a Harry Potter book as my flowers. I started looking at used bookstores and like the Goodwill and stuff to find copies of the Harry Potter books. And I think I'll be able to do this with just one book. I'm using a copy of the Half-Blood Prince that we found, we being me and my best friend and maid of honor. And the sizing of the pages is just perfect and stuff. And so when I was thinking about flowers, I'll be honest that roses aren't my favorite. There are a lot of different varieties of roses and they're beautiful, but they just have never been my favorite. So I was trying to look online. I originally went to YouTube to try and find different tutorials on how to make flowers out of book pages. And a lot of them had you like manually cutting them. And I was like, Well, me being a little bit of a perfectionist, I don't really like the idea of that because then they would be all different shapes and sizes and things like that. So I started then looking on Etsy for different templates that I could put into my Silhouette machine so that it could cut out the shapes for me. And I had originally bought from Color Flies, and that's what I was gonna go with. But then I found this video on YouTube from Leah Griffith about this beautiful blush bridal bouquet. And it was a step-by-step instruction. I was like, that's really pretty and that's really simple. So then I went to her website, and in order to get the templates from her website, you do have to become a member. You do have to subscribe. It's $9.99 a month, or you can pay for a year membership, which is $99. And so it took me a long time to make that plunge because I didn't want to have a subscription going and not know exactly what I wanted from it. So my mom and I actually went through on the website and looked at all the different designs she has. And I went with the book page design, which is her original rose template. And then I also picked a crepe paper design just because I thought it'd be nice to have different textures in there of our carnation, which carnations are one of my favorite flowers. I just think they're so beautiful. So I am going to walk you through the step-by-step on how to make the rose paper flowers. In order to get the template, you will need to subscribe to Leah Griffith or become a member, but it's kind of nice to have a video to at least see step-by-step and just kind of see the process. I struggled with the first flower. I'm not gonna lie, it was really difficult to figure out. But now on flower 3, I think I've got it. So when I signed up for the subscription, I was able to access any of the files that she has up there. I did download these as both an SVG file and a PDF, and found that my basic subscription or software of Silhouette does not allow you to import SVGs or PDFs. So if you have a cutting machine like that, for Silhouette specifically, you will need to upgrade to either the business or the designer edition. So I had to do that in order to not have to cut these by hand, which was well worth it for me because I'd probably still be getting these out. But basically imported the file, made it so that it has the proper cut lines and everything like that. I did, because I am using a Harry Potter book to cut these on, I did kind of manipulate the file a little bit. So I've got one page of number 1s, number 2s, number 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s that I can fit on it's like a 6x9 size sheet. So that's what I did. I've cut out so far 12 of each petal type. And so I'm ready to just kind of test and see how I can do that. The other tools you'll need other than paper, also if you don't want to cut up a book, which I had a hard time personally coming to terms with cutting up a book. I know she does have a paper flower tutorial, which is actually where I got this file from, and you can download and print. She had like a book written up, or I don't know if she made it up or whatever, but she's got book pages that you can print on your own paper, especially if you want it to be thicker than normal book paper, and use that so that you don't have to destroy a book like I did. So paper is what you need. I also have needle nose pliers. I have an 18 gauge. This is already a floral wrapped floral wire for the stems. And then I've got my low temp hot glue gun here. And I've got scissors for curling the pages. So the next step is then just to curl the pages, which I have already done. So basically you curl on either side and not just straight. That way you get kind of a curved petal effect. And then she kind of pinches in at the top there to kind of create a good crease. But, and then you do that all the way around. This was just a trial run for me, so it doesn't look the best, but it works for now. And then next step is gonna be to take all of your big petals here and glue them together so that they make the cone shape. So there's a little tab on each one of them where you can put the glue, and then just fold them up so they make a cone, and that'll make it easier. They can also sit and cool down while we start the other portion of this. Originally, I didn't really want to use hot glue because I know it gets a bit bulky, but I think it'll work just fine. So we're gonna make cones like that basically. And you obviously want the petals to be curved out and not in, just like a normal flower would look. Oh, that one's quite a bit of excess glue there. And then last one here. Okay. And then next step is going to be to bend the tip of the floral wire just a little bit. That way the hot glue has something to hold on to. Something like that. All right, so the next step now is to take one of the smaller petals, and with the curls facing up, we're going to make a line of glue and then attach the floral wire. And then once that has a moment to cool down, we're gonna start wrapping the petal around and not leave any of the glue strings hanging on. So this is going to wrap it a little tighter around the base and leave off something a little like that, I think. And she leaves a little bit of a flap, so we're just gonna add a tiny dot right here to close that off. Let that set, and then she curls this backward. And when I say she, I mean Leah. She does all the tutorials for her designs and things. Okay, so then we've got something that looks a little bit like that. Great, and then next I'm taking one of the other small petals with the curls folding down, and I'm gonna do a little triangle of glue and place it on the stem about the same way down as the other petal went, and just kind of curl it a bit into place. Something like that, I think. This is just a test run, so if it doesn't turn out well, I've got plenty more pages to go. And then the next little guy there, do the same thing with. She said it's okay if it wrinkles. We'll go with something like that. It doesn't exactly look like hers, but like I said, test run. So there we are. I'm going to finesse these a little bit and see if I can make that look just a little better before we move on. All right, so I repositioned this one and put it on the opposite side, which now I know why you offset it a little bit. But what I'm going to start doing is taking these pieces that I already folded into cones and slipping them up the bottom. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue, let's see, on the flower itself. And slide up to where it looks pretty good. You don't want the petals to overlap too much because that's not how a flower would look naturally. So something like that. I think I need more glue though. Let me finagle this just a little bit. There we go. And we basically do the same for the rest of the petals. Oh my gosh. Does anyone else hate having hot glue strings just hanging out? They drive me bonkers. So the next one will be the 4-petal one. And like this one doesn't really have a hole. I'm just going to gently punch my wire through. That might be okay. Now that it just rolled. Oh no! Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, next one. I think that one lies a little more flat. The wire's just a little long for me to be able to show this properly with where my camera is sitting. So I apologize for that. But I'm just gonna add another dollop of hot glue. There. I think that's okay. And then last one here. right, and that is our paper flower rose. I'd say for first attempt, that's actually not too bad, and I'm kind of pretty proud of that. So I'm gonna continue making some paper flowers, and that's basically it. If you do have any questions about this, I will do my best to leave everything mentioned in the description box below, including the link to the Leah Griffith website. I bought a lot of this stuff on Amazon, so I'll leave links to like the floral wire and things like that as well down there for you to check out. But if you've got any questions, please do let me know down in the comments below. So I would love to know what you ended up doing with your flowers. Did you buy them from the store? Did you make them yourself out of paper? I would just love to know if you have pictures of them, like especially on your Instagram. Link me to your Instagram and I'll go check them out for sure. But I would just love to know what you did flower-wise, and if you would like to let me know down in the comments below, I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!